What's up YouTube? I'm the Gaming Coach, and in today's video we're playing Watcher of Realms. So in particular we're going to take a look at the Single Target DPS Arena. So as we're doing a video on the arena, I always like to check out the meta first, and the meta shockingly has Cyrene going throughout it right now. So Cyrene right here is in the meta because it says she's a cost 11, but if you awaken her, you can actually get her to cost 10, and then she has this ability right here that restores 12 cost immediately and applies crit rate increase to 2 allies within 2 tiles, which you can awaken that to be all allies within tiles. But the real thing is this cost right here that's going to restore. So as I mentioned guys, Cyrene is going to be all throughout this top 10, you know, not in every spot because we do have the OG meta as I'm calling it right now, where you've got Gone and you've got Valeria doing most of the work with Ardia sitting there too. But be on the lookout for this guys. If you're seeing Cyrenes pop up, that's for a reason, and that's to get those heavy units out. And this is a team that I think you need to really start looking out for, where they have a Praetus, and then they have some of the Supreme Arbiters, and then they're mixing in some damage dealers like Silas in there too. But they are definitely using Cyrene here to be able to get Praetus out, because Praetus is a 25 cost unit, but in the arena it costs 20 due to his -5 arena ability. So make sure guys that if you think you're gonna have an easy fight because you're seeing Cyrene and you're not used to seeing Cyrene in the meta, that you're thinking again, because a lot of these high-end teams are using Cyrene for different things. And so you'll see some of the OG meta right here, you know, just like everyone else, we have A3 Gone, A3 Valeria, A5 Valeria, A5 Silas, A4 Ardia, you know, just like you guys have. But these teams right here, teams like this, be on the lookout for these teams popping up as the meta is expanding with these new heroes coming in. But make sure guys that you're staying current, and like I always like to check this out at least, you know, once a week and see if there's anything that I'm missing, if I don't understand why units are being used. And one of the big ones right now that I've been going back to is Cyrene. So I'm definitely going to have to start looking into ways that I can use Cyrene, and I do have Praetus, so I'll start using some teams like this. And I've got some footage of me trying to attempt some things without Cyrene using different teams today that has some pretty fun results. So I hope you guys enjoy these arena fights. Alright guys, the strategy with this one is to put down Valeria as fast as possible, and you're going to pop her ult as fast as possible. That way it kills the first wave, and the explosion pretty much kills the second wave. You're going to be putting Dolores down second to keep Valeria alive, a little bit, little heals, and do inspiration obviously. Silas will come in third, then Ardia, then finally we're putting in Vladoff. Originally when I record this video it was about 30 minutes long, and I know you guys don't want to wait that long just to see some of these arena fights. So I sped it up, it's 2 times what it would normally be, and I'm just going to do some voiceover in the background of it, so sorry if you guys don't like that, but next time I'll probably take myself off the screen whenever I'm doing arena fights so that you guys can see when I'm clicking the ultimates. As you guys can see as we go along through these clips, I'm going to be changing up the teams, trying to pair them with some of the meta teams that are going on, or at least as close as I can get with the heroes that I have on my account. I definitely need better artifacts to pull off the teams the way that the upper end people are doing though. So if you ever see a Valeria just go absolutely crazy, usually it's because they're using Wailing Skull. I do want to give you guys some helpful tips whenever it comes to Single Target DPS Arena. So the first one that I want you guys to know about is how many enemies are coming out each round. So round 1 you guys will see that there's 1 enemy that comes out. Round 2 also has 1 enemy that comes out. That's why Valeria just nukes that second one, because her ultimate was used on the first one and then it blows up the second one. In round 3 you have 2 that are the bigger guys that have higher defense. Then in round 4 you're going to have 2 guys that come out with higher defense as well. In round 5 you will have 3 that are the same as in round 2. And then whenever you get to round 6 is when it gets really nasty, because those things that have the AoE around them, the little aura that's damaging everybody, they have super high defense, they have super high attack, so they're going to be killing things very quickly. So you have to do a ton of damage to kill them, or you got to be able to heal through them. In round 7 you get 4 of those, and in round 8 it really gets tricky because even more of those are coming out. Why it is so important to know how many enemies are coming out is you need to know when to use your ultimates, when to pair them. Like if you're using Dolores, you need to know which person you're going to pair them with. If you're using Silas, you need to know the right timing for it. You know, you'll see in the clip sometimes I mistime things. I'm not claiming to be the all-in deity of Arena. That's not me. I'm just here trying to help you guys to understand what's going on and have a little bit of fun and see if you guys enjoy some of the clips that I've got playing in the background. A little bonus tip is whenever you get to round 6, make sure you have lots of ultimates saved up, or at least enough ultimates to kill those things before they get a 3 stack. If you ever let them get to 3 stacks on top of each other, whatever you're using is probably going down, and then the other team's going to have a huge advantage on you, so make sure you're killing those things as quickly as possible. So as you can see in the background, I switched up to a Nightmare team here, and so Valeria's still going to go first, Dolores still going to go second, but then we switched to Salazar going third, then Arrogance going fourth, and then Torador's going to go last. And Torador's going to go behind Valeria. Torador's here not just for the Lord effect, but also if Valeria dies, then Torador gives us a little bit of a gap to do more damage, and he's going to revive himself upon his first death, so that can be the difference between winning and losing one of these matches as you get to the later rounds. If you guys have any questions on any of these team comps, let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, or if you have suggestions for things that I should try, I'm happy to learn. You know, I'm learning this game just as you guys are. I'm just showing you some of the things that I have learned through my own experiences or through watching other YouTube channels. Which brings me to my next point, guys. Don't be afraid to experiment with new team comps. Just because the meta with the high-end people are doing one thing doesn't mean you have those heroes. It doesn't mean that you have their gear. It doesn't mean you have their artifacts. So make sure you're doing things that work for your account and make sure you're having fun. Like, I like to experiment with these. I did 3 different team comps in this video. 2 of them I've never used before, so I misclicked. I still won the arena fights, but even if I would have lost, it's not the end of the world because the rewards from Apex Overlord to Platinum are really not like that game-changing. Sure, you might get an extra Ancient Shard, but that's not going to make the big difference whenever they're spending so much money to get into Apex Overlord in the first place. As you might notice in the background, I switched to a Supreme Arbiter squad now, so this might not be the most optimized way of playing this, but the way that I played it was I still put Valeria first, then Silas, then Valk, then Constance, then Praetus. And Praetus is an absolute monster. Like, not only does he grant his Lord bonuses, but he also has the clickable ability in the right-hand side that you can see there, and that thing comes in clutch here, and I'll show you in a little bit why. But this squad is going to be one of the most meta squads going forward, in my opinion, and I'll explain that at the end of this video. One thing that I find really cool about this team is how they help each other out. So you have, obviously, Valeria's there for doing a ton of damage, Silas, same thing. But then you have Constance, who's there as an Arbiter, you have Valk, who's there as an Arbiter, and then you have Praetus, of course, who's the Arbiter Lord. And whenever you put more Arbiters with Praetus, he's going to do more damage. At the time of me recording this video, there's not a ton of Supreme Arbiters out yet, but they do help each other out a lot. For instance, Constance is there to heal and do the inspiration, which, yes, it's not as good as Dolores's, but it is very much good enough to do the job. And the heals are better than Dolores. And so then you have Valk, who's not only there to do the debuffs, not only there to do damage, but also when Valeria dies the first time, Valk will resurrect her and bring her right back up to fighting. The clip that's playing right now is definitely one of those instances where I messed up. Like, I mistimed things, I didn't have it going perfectly to plan, but I was still having fun, and you guys will love to watch how this one ends. Like, it looks like I'm about to lose, it looks like I was so close to winning, but I'm about to lose, and then I won't ruin the surprise, I'll let you see what happens. The team that we're going against in this fight is one of the meta teams. It has Gone, it has Valeria, it has Dolores, it has Zillitu, and it has Silas. So this is one of those where I wanted to test my comp against one of the main meta comps to see how it stacks up. It is worth noting that if you substitute Ardea for Zillitu here, that would be the actual like main comp that is owning the arena right now. So right about here is when things start looking really bad for me. You know, my Valeria went down, and Valk had already brought her up once, so she wasn't going to come back to the fight. So now we have Valk tanking, and so I've got to do a ton of damage just to keep Valk alive, but then eventually they add up to a 2-stack, and Valk gets taken out. But then, much like the Phoenix, Valeria pops back up and saves the day until she immediately dies. But then when all hope is lost, Praetus' Lord ability comes through in the clutch, and you see me start talking a little bit of trash. fights like these are why I really do enjoy the arena. So I hope you guys enjoyed those fights. Obviously, I'm not near the top end of the meta. I don't have some of the top heroes. I don't have top end gear, and I certainly don't have top end artifacts. You know, those are artifacts probably the biggest weakness on my account right now. And so I've definitely been farming those, but they are definitely slow to come as well, as you guys probably already know. And here's the current stats for the Apex Overlord most used heroes. And you've got Valeria, Gone, Ardea, Silas, Kratos, and then Dolores. And I would not be surprised, guys, as we see more and more Kratos, if we don't see Constance start taking over some of these Dolores spots. And one of the reasons for that is as you go along, Dolores just can't keep up with the heals, and Constance is a better healer, even though Constance inspiration where they boost the attack is not as high. But after a certain point when you have the certain gear, you're not really looking for that enormous attack boost anymore, and instead you're trying to get a lot of crit damage. So I think Constance will start replacing Dolores as we go along a little bit. It's also a little bit easier to get everyone in Constance's range because of being able to go up top, because a lot more melee are currently being used than range characters. But check out number 16 right here. Cyrene is being used in Apex Overlord at the number 16 spot. Like I said, I think Constance is going to be popping up pretty soon, replacing a lot of the Dolores, because you can use Kratos and get the buff for the clickable ability from Constance popping out there, and Valk will be used a little bit more, I think. So just make sure you guys are keeping an eye on what the top end players are doing, and that kind of trickles down. You know, if we look through here, we look at Platinum, Valeria number 1, Salazar number 2, Wrath is here because everyone has Wrath, and then you've got Silas, Dolores, and then as you keep going down, you'll start seeing some of the heroes trickling in that are now the top end of the meta. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the arena. Make sure you guys are checking out all this stuff all the time. Like, make sure you're trying to help yourself out. Make sure you're staying current on what the meta shifts are, because I promise you these high-end players that have all these heroes available are going to be constantly shifting, trying to one-up each other or outsmart each other. And so for us mere mortals that are not going to be at the top end of Apex Overlord, we just can see that and let that trickle down and use some of their strategies with the heroes that we have, or merge some of the comps like I did today. At the end of the day, guys, it's not the end of the world if you're not an Apex Overlord. What counts is that you're having fun, and I actually find the arena a lot of fun in this game. I know some people don't, but I think it's one of my favorite part of the games because I like trying to figure out just random strategies that I can use to get some wins over some of the meta teams. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, please like and subscribe. But until our next video, guys, I'm the Gaming Coach, and I'll catch y'all later.